So we are going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Aloni. I'm with Schneps Media. Schneps Media is one of the largest media companies in New York, locally serving our readers, and we publish over 70 newspapers, magazines, websites, webinars, podcasts, and events, and do so throughout Queens, Brooklyn, the Bronx, Manhattan, Westchester, Long Island, and Philadelphia. Today, we're thrilled to be able to bring you the SONYMA Informational webinar, and we are very lucky to hear directly from a State of New York mortgage agency representative regarding their mortgage programs. SONYMA programs provide excellent benefits for first-time homebuyers. So let's get started and get you the information that you're here to learn about. First, I want to be able to introduce our panelists for tonight. I'm thrilled to have with us Delphia Munoz. Delphia is the AVP Business Development Officer for the State of New York Mortgage Agency. Delphia, welcome, and please tell our attendees about yourself.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for inviting us, for letting us be a part of this. And first and foremost, before I even get started on myself, I want to be able to applaud everyone who's actually on, because the mere fact that instead of going out or sitting back and enjoying dinner, you're joining us, really shows that desire that you have to be able to attain that dream of home ownership, right? Everyone wants that piece of the pie. I'm Delphia Munoz, and I am with SONYMA. A little bit about myself. I've been in this business for about 30 plus years. So I started very young, let's put it that way. And so I was a mortgage loan officer for many years. And then I went to work for a very large housing agency, a nonprofit, in which it gave me really gave me the benefit of being able to work with different municipalities and to learn about grant and down payment assistance. It truly became my passion, and I've been fortunate enough to be with SONYMA, which was one of the programs that I always loved, for about 5 years now. So that's a little bit about me. Again, my wish for everyone is that you feel that amazing feeling of being able to get the keys to your first home. There's no greater feeling, but with the team that's here tonight, it's about doing it in a very safe and affordable way.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to have not only an expert, but someone who's passionate about it as well. Next, I would like to welcome Veronica Ferrero. She's the AVP Community Lending Coordinator at Emigrant Mortgage Company. Veronica, welcome. Please tell everyone about yourself.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. What a pleasure. What an evening. Thank you, participants, for being here. And this took so much effort and time to put together, so I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Big thank you to Delphia and Matt. These people are so expert in their field, and I am so honored to be in their company. My name is Veronica Ferrero, and together with Delphia, when we left kindergarten, we started in this business. So yeah, it's been a while. So I've been with Emigrant for 30 plus years. I am a loan officer. I am now the community lending coordinator for the bank, and I do help a lot of these people, first-time home buyers, to achieve that dream and help them and walk them through the whole process. I love what I do. I'm very passionate for what I do, and I hope you enjoy this evening. And we'll be there for you after tomorrow, the day after, to help you navigate through everything that you need to know about being a first-time home buyer. Enjoy, relax, take notes, and have fun. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much. And you are very, you're not being totally truthful. You are as illustrious as our other panelists. So we're lucky to have you here as well, for sure. Thank you for being here. Next, I want to introduce you to Luis Alan Castro. He is the mortgage consultant at Emigrant Mortgage Company. Welcome, Luis. Share us with everyone a little bit about yourself.
Yes, again, I work for Emigrant Mortgage. My name is Luis Alan Castro. I've been in the business for a long time as well, over 25 years. We at Emigrant are trying as much to help homeowners, to, like Veronica said, to have their home and be first-time home buyers, and show them in this particular webinar how to achieve that dream by being able to qualify for SONYMA mortgage and SONYMA loan. And thank you attendees for being here, and thank you panelists for being here as well. If we have any questions after the seminar, we are available, and we'll be able to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Louis. Next, I'm welcoming and happy to welcome Matt Kaplan. Matt is the operations manager for House Master Home Inspection. Hi, Matt. Please welcome yourself and share yourself with everyone.
Thanks so much. It's a pleasure. This whole Zoom thing is all refreshing. I mean, we get to spend more meetings overnight, and you can never do this in a setting like getting so many people together like this. But my name is Matt, and I own a home inspection franchise for about 27 years, and we're a 40-year-old national company, and hopefully I can bring some good information for you about what the home inspection process is, when you should do the inspection, and why you should do it. It's a huge investment, so you don't want to skip out on that. But there's a lot of steps to this process, and understanding and attending the inspection would be very educational for you. So you have to do your due diligence before you hire an inspector to make sure that they have a good rating with the Better Business Bureau, have been around a long time, and you feel comfortable with them over the phone. So it's a big step, but just if you have any questions, you can always reach me anytime.
Thanks so much, Matt. Certainly, this is a power team, and obviously, including myself, we all started as kindergartners. So let's get started. Everyone is dying to hear more. We're going to share a PowerPoint with you now.
Thank you so much. So as I said before, again, thank you to everyone for all the participants for taking the time to be and to join us tonight. So a little bit about SONYMA. SONYMA, if you're looking to buy your first home, I really hope that you give us, you consider SONYMA. SONYMA provides down payment assistance. Now, we all know that for the most part, most people can pay that mortgage because most people are paying for rent, which is a mortgage and then some with the kind of rents that New Yorkers pay. But how do you pay those astronomical rents that are out there and save for a mortgage at the same time or for a down payment? It's kind of hard to do. So one of the things that SONYMA offers is SONYMA is down payment assistance. We offer below market interest rates, home renovation financing, special programs for veterans. If you're a veteran, thank you so much for your service, and please make sure to ask about our programs for veterans. All our programs are available for 1 to 4 family homes, including condos and co-ops. Next, please. So again, a little about SONYMA. SONYMA has been around since 1970, and we really were established to try and alleviate some of the shortage in funds available through private banking. Our mission is to provide safe, affordable, and sustainable home ownership. And that's important because you want to be able to obtain that home, right? Everybody wants a piece of the American dream, but you want to do it in a safe way. And you want it to be affordable because you want to be able to pay, to be able to make that monthly payment. You don't want to stagger yourself or to feel like, you know, now you've got this home, now you can't breathe, right? And we want it to be sustainable because everyone wants their first home, but it's about being able to keep it, right? Because if you have to end up giving it back to the bank or the bank taking it, then what good was it, right? So it's about sustainability. All of our programs are available for low to moderate income households in New York, so anywhere in New York State, primarily focused to first-time homebuyers. And all our programs are available through a network of participating lenders. So you can't come to SONYMA directly to apply, but it is through our various lenders. And Emigrant happens to be a great partner. They're one of our participating lenders, so they're definitely where you could go to be able to apply for a SONYMA mortgage. Next, please. Also, I want to let you know that SONYMA's website is sonyma.org. Where you can find any of the information that you may want as well. So you probably ask yourself, why SONYMA, right? Again, it's State of New York Mortgage Agency. And again, we provide various mortgage programs, which are primarily targeted for first-time homebuyers. Now, I should also say that For us, a first-time homebuyer is someone who has not owned a primary home in the last 3 years. So you may have owned a home 4 years ago and you sold it. For SONYMA's purposes, you are still a first-time homebuyer. So again, we have something called Can You Pass the First-Time Homebuyer Test? It's on our website, but it's something that is always good to look at because there are many different scenarios. You may think that you don't qualify as a first-time homebuyer, but for SONYMA purposes, you may be. If you're a veteran, National Guard, or reservist, our Homes for Veterans program, you do not have to be a first-time homebuyer. You can't own anything else at the time that you close with us, but you don't have to be a first-time homebuyer. Next, please. So some of our available programs are our low interest rate program, our Achieving the Dream program. As I mentioned, our Homes for Veterans program. We also do Habitat for Humanity. We have a new program called Give Us Credit. We do 2 renovation programs called our Remodel New York program and our Neighborhood Revitalization program. So our low interest rate program is not our lowest rate. It's named incorrectly. Our Achieving the Dream program is our lowest rate. Our Homes for Veterans program, as I mentioned before, is for veterans, active military, National Guard, or reservists. So most of the time with veterans program, if you're familiar with the VA program, it's usually just for the veteran and the veteran spouse. Our Homes for Veterans program is for the veteran and any of their family members. As long as the veteran is going to live in the home and be on title, the veteran doesn't even have to be on the mortgage, but the family member gets the same benefit. And our Homes for Veterans program is also good for co-ops, whereas the VA doesn't allow co-ops. So I just wanted to give that slight difference. Next, please. So some of the benefits of SONYMA are SONYMA programs, again, have lower overall costs and payments compared to some traditional programs such as FHA. So we are state, FHA is federal, it's not a BAT loan, but with FHA, you usually will have private mortgage insurance. So if you're putting down less than 80%, sorry, less than 20%, you would have under an FHA mortgage, private mortgage insurance for the life of the loan, which is usually anywhere from $100 to a couple of $100s, right? So that's one of the things that makes a SONYMA mortgage a little less. Furthermore, again, we offer down payment assistance as well. We also have some flexible credit options. As I mentioned, we have a new program that we rolled out recently called the Give Us Credit program. And with that program, there are less restrictive guidelines. So the Give Us Credit program was a pilot program that was recently rolled out to address some of the racial disparities in mortgage lending and increase homeownership in minority households, right? It also is there to be able to help with the racial inequality, right? When it comes to building wealth and being able to obtain a home. So most of the time with regular mortgage programs, if you don't have credit or your credit is less than stellar, that's really a stumbling block. With the Give Us Credit program, if we do on most of our programs require that you have at least 3 lines of credit with a 12-month history. Under the Give Us Credit program, if you don't have credit, but you can show us that you've paid your rent on time for 12 months, then that's just as good as if you had credit. Perhaps, as I mentioned, it's been a little hard to pay for your rent and to save for a down payment. So with the Give Us Credit program, we allow for a family member to give you a loan. Usually in none of mortgage programs would you be allowed to actually get a loan from a family member to be able to show your down payment or to have down payment. But this program allows for that. Again, it allows for a family member to lend you money. Of course, a family member can gift you money as well, which is usually what's really allowed under most programs, but the Give Us Credit program allows that. Let's say that you have no credit and you can't show us that you've paid your rent for 12 months. Doesn't mean that you still can't go forward. You can, We just usually we allow ratios a little higher, then we will reduce it a little bit. We also, normally, if you can't provide proof that you've saved for your down payment, so what they call sourcing, if your money is not in the bank for at least 3 months, then that money can't be counted as having been your money for down payment. Under the Give Us Credit program, we allow for what they call mattress money, right? It's money that you keep at home, hopefully in a safe place, but we allow for that. And these are things that I'm sure Veronica and Louis can explain that are not normally traditionally allowed in the mortgage process or when applying for a mortgage. But when we took a look at the racial disparities and we tried to see why there were so many racial disparities, one of the things that kept coming up to us was either something with credit or having lack of savings, which was what was standing between most households being able to move forward to get a mortgage and not being able to, right? So that's the reason why we rolled this program out again. If you have blemishes on the credit, it allows for some of that. Big deal is normally we don't, and we understand that many families pull their monies together to be able to live together and pay for rent and utilities. So normally, if those family members are not on the mortgage, that's not monies that we can count. Under the Give Us Credit program, we are allowing for that, right? If your family members can show that they've lived with you for 12 months, and again, that they contribute to the household, then again, this program allows for that. So there's many, many flexibilities and credit options with this program. Next, please. So some of the additional benefits of SONYMA is, again, we do give down payment assistance, right? So it's less money that you need from your pocket in order to be able to obtain a home. So SONYMA offers 3% of the purchase price for down payment, up to $15,000. So the number that I always have in my head is, let's say the home is $300,000. SONYMA is going to give you a down payment assistance of $9,000. And even though we call it a down payment assistance, those monies can be used for down payment, closing costs, or a combination of both, or to pay. Remember when I mentioned that if you're putting down less than 20%, then you're going to have private mortgage insurance. Well, with Sony, you can utilize SONYMA's down payment assistance to eliminate that private mortgage insurance by using our money to pay what they call a single premium one time and not have that additional monthly tacked on to your mortgage payment. One of the good things also, going back to our Give Us Credit program, is that normally the minimum that we give is $3,000, right? And the maximum that we give is $15,000. If you're in our Give Us Credit program, then the minimum that we give is $7,500. So again, just to be able to give that booster or help out with being able to obtain your home. Next, please. So if you're looking to purchase and you're looking for a home that needs repair, normally, if you don't have the money to fix that up, that's not a home that you can really go for, right? And there's that old saying that says that you buy the worst house in the best neighborhood, right? But if you're going to do that, that home is going to need some work. Where do you get that money? Because again, if you're paying the kind of rent that you're paying now, or if you're trying to save for down payment, how are you going to have money for down payment and to be able to fix a home? It's virtually impossible. So SONYMA has another program called the Neighborhood Revitalization Program. In that program, if you purchase a home that's vacant, and it must be vacant at the time that you're purchasing it, SONYMA will give you another assistance up to $20,000 to be able to fix up that home. Now, that can go for anything anything that improves the home. We've allowed the monies to go to finish a basement or to put in new appliances or to change the floors. Maybe you don't like that old carpet that they have. So now you have that ability to be able to change that. So ideally, you can get up to $15,000 for down payment and another 20,000 to fix up that home. And that is through our neighborhood revitalization program. With that program, you don't have to be a first-time home buyer, but you cannot own anything else by the time that you close with us, right? And I should say that all of our programs have income limits and purchase price limits. Now, with the neighborhood revitalization program, it is our highest income limits, right? Think I can go over the income limits in a little while, or maybe Veronica might want to touch upon them. But again, that particular program. And this, just bear in mind, this is one of the programs in which it's Matt's specialty, and he is very good at being able, because when you need work on a home, you need to have a HUD inspector, which is what Matt is, go in and take a look at what work is really needed and what's entailed and how much it's going to cost. So, but Matt can touch upon that as well. And so let's say that you found a home that's vacant. Let's say that maybe you're purchasing a foreclosure, and that home, you say, okay, well, great. SONYMA is going to give me 20,000, but that home is going to need a lot more than just $20,000 to fix it up. And I'm sure you've all seen the HD TV shows where they take the home that's not in great condition and make it into their dream home. Well, we have another program that can be combined with any of our programs called the Remodel New York program. And that program allows you to finance the repairs into the mortgage. Because if you were to pay for repairs, let's say you bought a house, you closed on it, and then you wanted to do repairs. You went to Home Depot or Lowe's. That financing to fix it up, to do the repairs, is gonna cost you a lot more money on a monthly basis, right? However, if you finance it into the mortgage, so for every $10,000, it's about $40 more in your mortgage. That's a lot more affordable than if now you had to spend $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in a finance to finance repairs, right? So let's say, as I mentioned, that you found a home, it's a foreclosure. You can do the NRP mixed with the Remodel New York. 20,000 of it works like a grant. If you stay in the home for 20 years, for 10 years, you never have to repay that. And the other 40,000 goes into your mortgage, right? Because our down payment assistance, just like the $20,000 for rehab, if you stay in the home for 10 years, it's a gift. You never have to repay it. If you sell before 10 years, there may be a portion that you owe back. And that's never meant to choke you or to make you have to pay an astronomical amount back. I can give you an example that we gave someone $12,500. They sold in 3 years and they made a nice profit. They only had to pay back $2,500. So it's never meant for you, because every time that you make a mortgage payment, a certain amount of it is forgiven. It's a no interest bearing, no monthly payment extra for the down payment assistance, right? But again, every time that you make a mortgage payment, 1/120th of it is forgiven. That's why it's never going to be the same amount in year 2 or 3 or 4. And again, after 10 years, it's completely gone and you never have to repay a cent. Next, please. So our down payment assistance grants, right? Or our programs are designed to work really well with any other down payment assistance grants that may be available to you. So as I mentioned before, I worked for about close to 10 years with a housing counseling agency, right? With a large nonprofit that administered many grants. Many people are not even aware that there are so many down payment assistance programs available for first-time home buyers. So for instance, there's a grant available if you work certain companies or employers to be able to retain their employees, give a certain amount of monies for a down payment. That sometimes can be combined with Affordable Housing Corporation grants, with SONYMA's down payment assistance. So when we call it layering. When all is said and done, now you have all these multiple layers for down payment, which now makes your affordability a lot greater, right? Because again, you're saying, how am I going to be able to afford that if I don't have much for a down payment? These are the different programs that make it available and affordable for you to be able to do so. One of the nonprofits is called CHI, Community Housing Innovations. Community Housing Innovations is based out of Westchester, but they also have a satellite office in Long Island. They give $25,000. $10,500 must be for down payment. $14,500 has to be for repairs, right? So again, you can layer that with our down payment assistance, and now you have a much greater amount for down payment or even to be able to fix up a home. So again, all our programs are designed to work with any other down payment assistance or subsidy or grant that may be available in your area or your community. Next, please. So most of the time people hear that in order to be able to even purchase a home, you hear all kinds of different, scenarios, right? You hear that you need 10% down, you need to have at least 10%, or you need 15, or you need 20%, or you need 5%, right? Well, I'm here to tell you that that's not always the case. With SONYMA, you need less of your own monies. So if you're purchasing, because remember, we give 3% of the purchase price up to $15,000 that you can use for down payment, closing costs, or to pay off that MI for, once, right? So if you're purchasing a single family, 2-family, or a condo, then our requirement is that you have at least 1% of your own monies into the transaction. So again, if you're purchasing a $300,000 home, we are expecting that you have at least $3,000 of your own monies. Now, into the transaction for down payment and closing costs. But remember, so our minimum down payment is 3%, but out of that 3%, if you're purchasing a 1-family, 2-family, or condo, 1% needs to be your own monies. If you're purchasing a co-op, a 3-family, or a 4-family, then the requirement is that you have at least 3% of your own monies into the transaction. So again, that gives you the ability to either go for grants or to see what other assistance may be available, or to maybe get a gift from a family member, or if you're doing our Give Us Credit program, again, you can borrow from a family member. Next. So one of the things, so statistics show us that the borrowers that go through homebuyer education are less likely to go into default or to lose their home, which is one of the reasons why SONYMA requires homebuyer education, right? So you can get, on our website, we have a whole list of nonprofits or housing counseling agencies, which are all HUD certified, to be able to get that education. And homebuyer education is not only available in many, many areas, but they are usually the best people to walk you through this, right? So you have this amazing team at your disposal. Your housing counseling agency, your amazing lenders, such as Immigrant, your home inspector, all these people combined are helping you to be able to really achieve that dream of home ownership and do it in a safe, affordable, and sustainable way. So housing counseling, when you go through it, one of the first things that they do is that they look at your credit. Now, SONYMA per se doesn't have a minimum FICO score, right? You'll often hear that you have to have a 620 or 640 or 700. SONYMA doesn't say you have to have a certain credit score. However, as I mentioned, we do require that you have, that you show either 3 lines of credit with at least a 12-month history, or it could be a combination of what we call traditional and non-traditional credit, where maybe you can show us that you've paid your rent on time, that you pay utilities on time, and so on. But so if you now start to let someone run your credit, right? So for many other mortgage programs, you need to have a certain FICO score. If now you start running your credit or letting someone pull your credit, it's going to affect your score. And usually it drops your score by 3 points each, right? So let's say that the minimum FICO score in many programs is 620. Now you go to Kohl's or Macy's or somebody, and they say, well, yes, if you purchase this today, you can get 30% off on your purchase. That's great, because you've saved 30%, but it's bad because now you've had your credit pulled and now you've possibly lost 3 points on your credit score. That can be what stands between you and actually being able to go forward with the mortgage, right? So housing counseling agencies pull your credit immediately, but it's strictly for counseling purposes, so it doesn't affect your score, and they go through it with you. They advise you to see if maybe there's areas that you need improvement on. They can also tell you about all the other programs that may be available. They truly hold your hand, but they're also the experts at being able to locate any down payment assistance or grants that may be available for you or that you qualify for. So that's the reason why, number one, is they really give you the hand holding from beginning to end, but also, statistics show us that people who go through homeownership counseling are not those that go into default. So I highly recommend it. Next, please. So how do you get started, right? So as I mentioned, getting started is always a good idea to go through homeownership counseling. And again, you can go on our website. We have many there listed. And also the next best thing is to meet with a loan officer to be able to get pre-approved, because you need to know what your buying power is, right? Don't show me the $600,000 home if my affordability is only $300,000, right? But that's where the folks at Immigrant come in to be able to walk you through that process and be able to pre-approve you and to tell you about the programs that are available for you and your affordability. I thank you for your attendance. I'm here for any questions you may have. And I turn it over to Veronica to say a little bit about the process of applying for a mortgage.
Thank you so much. That was so informative, and I had so many wow moments, and I'm sure a lot of our attendees do too. But I just wanted to jump over to Veronica, as you said, so she can share more about the pre-approval process. Veronica?
So the pre-approval process is, it's a process that prepares you to get ready for that moment. And sometimes you're not ready now. You may be ready in 6 months, you may be ready in a year from now. So that's okay, timing is good. But finding the team that will help you get to that pre-approval process is very important. So you want to make sure that your credit is up to date. If there's anything that needs to be fixed or needs to be tweaked or needs to be corrected, those things take time. If there is an error on your credit report and you need to go back to the agency or the company that put that error, that's going to take time too. So getting ready with the credit report is one of the most important things, because that will, like I said, take some time to fix, and it doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes it takes 2 to 3 months to get those corrections off your credit scores, of your credit report. So you've identified somebody that is going to do a pre-approval. Obviously the pre-approvals are free. And somebody is also, not only the pre-approval, is also going to counsel you as to what products are available to you based on your income, based on your employment, based on your credit. So there's a lot behind the scenes that is going to happen that you need somebody that is going to walk you through. So you've identified the credit, you've identified the programs that are available in your area and for your specific income. You're also going to put together a team of realtors that are going to help you identify the properties that are available within your budget. Also, you're going to basically find that home that fits your needs and you can qualify, because like Dofia said, there's no point of seeing houses that are not meeting your budget. And you're basically sometimes your comfort level of what you're willing to pay. So the pre-approval process is something that is important because you want to make sure that you identify how much you can afford. And that pre-approval will be available. A lot of sellers nowadays will not show your house if you haven't been pre-approved. So finding the right team, finding the right people that will walk you through that pre-approval process is so important. Because, you know, historically, people only buy houses 3 times a year. 3 times in their lifetime. And basically, you want to make sure that that is something that is not so stressful and that you understand what every step is going to take place, who's going to be in charge of every step. And that's what a good lender is going to do for you.
Thank you. That's really informative. It certainly is important to be able to have that pre-approval so you know what it is you can afford. And when you find something that you want to with the way the market is, you want to make sure that you win that offer.
Sure.
So very important. Thank you for that. Matt, can you share a little bit about the importance of an accurate inspection?
Sure. Well, in today's market, like he was saying, it's very hot and you have to move fast. So when you get your offer accepted, you have to get your inspector in there within 48 hours. That's very important. And what a home inspection is it's a total education of the property from inside and out. We're not looking behind walls, but we're educating you from the outside in. So the whole exterior from your driveway, your walkways and drainage outside, roofing, siding, and chimney, and your windows and doors on the exterior. And then they work themselves from top to bottom, like your attic, your insulation, ventilation, bathrooms, and then, go into the electrical panel and check the heating, the appliances, water heater, your basement and foundation, your entire structure. So anything attached to it, a attached garage, a detached structure, detached garage type of thing, that's all part of the house, including retaining walls on the property if you're buying in hilly areas, and anything that can possibly go wrong with the house with trees, roots that push up, you've seen them on the sidewalk. That's typically the homeowner's responsibility. So you want to make sure that you have a good inspector that sees if there's a potential concern. Now, with home inspectors going out there, you want to spend a couple of hours and ask questions, walk along to get all the immediate concerns, to get all the maintenance tips. And you have to investigate the proper inspector out there because they vary in degrees of experience. So that's what it's all about with a home inspection. And again, do this inspection before you sign a contract, not after. We see a lot of people, they get talked into signing the contract and then they do an inspection after. So always do this inspection right before you sign a contract.
That's a really great tip, Matt, and certainly important to choose the right people, both, in dealing with your mortgage and in with your home inspection, making sure you're dealing with experts who can guide you and give you the information that you need. Really important information. I want to jump to Veronica and Lewis. Can you share some of your experiences with your clients and SONYMA?
So my experience with SONYMA has been amazing because talk about the team that is behind the scenes. That's what SONYMA is. I can go to Delphia, I can go to SONYMA, and they walk me through. They say, okay, this one qualifies. So we've done a few loans with SONYMA. They have been successful. They have helped a lot of homeowners that had very little down payment, but were buying what I call the ugly duckling in the neighborhood. And that property, they would have never been able to achieve had it not been through SONYMA that helped them with the renovation. Matt was great at pinpointing, helping me restructure and structure the loan many times. So again, these are the people that make our success so invaluable because it's so important to have a team like SONYMA behind us to help the customer. So I am the biggest fan of SONYMA because I think that they've come such a long way from what they was, and they have really reached out to the community to help that dream come true. So I am for SONYMA 100%.
Fantastic. I know, just hearing it myself, I'm amazed at all the fantastic things that they offer and make it so doable for people to own homes. It's spectacular. I wish I knew about this before. But I'm glad that you're all learning that for sure. I'm seeing some people asking about contact information, and I did share Veronica, Lewis, and Matt's contact information. In fact, someone said, do you know where I can find a good home inspector? Matt, Matt's a good home inspector, so we have his information there. Thank you so much. This has been wonderful. We have so many questions. I would love to jump into some of the questions that we have from our attendees if our panelists are ready. So Pablo had a question. Are the loans only available for New York State?
Yes, so it's all of New York State, but it is New York State only. Now, if you're interested in going anywhere other than New York, I would definitely advise you to look up, let's say you were thinking about Pennsylvania, then look up the Housing Finance Agency for Pennsylvania, because SONYMA is state of New York's housing finance agency, but every state has one. And usually that's where you have the ability to work with grants and down payment assistance. So I would definitely encourage you that if you're looking to purchase in another state, that you Google their housing finance agency to see what they have available.
That's an excellent tip. Thank you for that. Devin wants to know, if we live in New York, however, we're looking to purchase in New Jersey, can we still use one of SONYMA's programs?
Unfortunately not, because again, it is only New York State, but I'm sure that Veronica and Louis have programs that can go into New Jersey that may be compatible. Or again, as I mentioned, definitely look to see what their housing finance agency offers.
Terrific. Thank you. Veronica, did you want to add anything to that about helping people with that?
No, Dafia has given a great ideas that go to the local housing for the area that you're buying and check what other grants are available. So sometimes the grants are available for the state, and sometimes the grants are available just for the town. So, you know, just search and look, and you'll be amazed what you can find.
Terrific. Actually, Lynn is asking something about that. Where can you get a list of all the grants? Is there a place that lists them perhaps for all of New York, or do you know?
Well, we are working to be able to put something on our website, but we haven't put one as of yet. But I would definitely tell you to Google down payment assistance programs, right? So for instance, if you're looking to purchase, I'm sorry, my little dog is being very annoying. If you're looking to purchase in Long Island, the Long Island Housing Partnership administers 5 major grants, one of them being the Employers Assistance Down Payment Program. Community Development Corporation of Long Island also has that. Neighborhood housing services. So you have neighborhood housing services of Queens, neighborhood housing services of Jamaica, neighborhood housing services of the Bronx. So each borough normally does. So again, they are usually the ones that can tell you what's available, what grants may be available. HPD, which is Housing Preservation and Development, they have a down payment program. There's also a program through the Federal Home Loan Bank, which many different banks administer as well. So Google all this down payment assistance, because it's amazing. You'd never know that there was so much money available. Again, and if you can take advantage of it, do so, because you can only truly call yourself a first-time homebuyer once. So take advantage of it. It's there for you. And again, remember, it's about doing it in a safe and affordable manner, right?
Absolutely.
I just wanted to add, the Homebuyer Dream Program is going to start rolling out in May. You want to make sure that whoever you're dealing, the lender, has to be approved to be able to provide this grant, because not every lender is approved. So not every lender is approved for SONYMA, not every lender is approved for CHI. So if you could find a lender that is approved for all these grants, you've hit the jackpot. So, you know, make sure that you ask that question.
Terrific. Thank you. Shirley, you just mentioned CHI again. She wants to know, what does CHI stand for? And did you mention a Long Island housing agency? If so, she wants to know if you could repeat that.
Okay. So CHI is Community Housing Innovations. If you wanted to look up what they have available as far as grants, you can do chigrants.org. Long Island would be Long Island Housing Partnership. Their website is LIHP.org. ihp.org as well. They can tell you all the different, they can show you all the different grants that are available. Some grants are available at certain times and some, you might be on a waiting list, but they administer the Nassau County Down Payment Assistance Program, the Town of Babylon Down Payment Assistance Program, the Employer Assistance Down Payment. So they have many, many grants. Again, I encourage you to look it up and see what's available.
Terrific. We have a question from Gertrude, but also it's a very similar question Maureen has, and I saw a couple other questions about it. What is the income requirement for down payment assistance?
Okay, so for various grants, each grant program has their own income limit. Normally it's 80% of the area median income, but those are for different grants. So as I mentioned, SONYMA, we have income limits and purchase price limits, right? So just to give you a little example, our Achieving the Dream program, which is our lowest interest rate, which right now is at 2.875, 30-year fixed. If you're looking to purchase in the 5 boroughs, our income limit, so we have what we call 1 or 2 person households, whatever the dynamic may be. Maybe it's a single person and a child, maybe it's a husband and wife, or it's a couple, whatever it may be. If it's only 1 or 2 people in the household, then the income limit is $109,150. If the home is 3 or more people in the household, and again, whatever the dynamic is, single mom and 2 children, that's a 3-person household, then the income limit goes up to $127,340. Now, if you were to look at that same program in Long Island, for instance, then the 1 or 2 person household, the income limit is $121,530, and 3 or more, it's $141,790. Remember, it's a higher cost area. So again, right? If now you went into our low interest rate program, because again, that program now has higher income limits. New York City, 1 or 2 person households, $136,440 would be the income limit, and 3 or more would be $159,180. Long Island, you're looking at $151,920 for 2 people, and 3 or more, $177,240. Now, remember I also mentioned our neighborhood revitalization program. That's if you find a home that's vacant at the time that you're purchasing it. You don't have to be a first-time home buyer, but you can't own anything else by the time that you close with us. In New York City, 1 or 2 person household, the income limit is $204,660. 3 or more, $238,770. And that same program in Long Island for 2 people is $227,880 as an income limit, and $265,860 for 3 or more person household. So again, it depends on where you're purchasing in the state, what county, and that, but again, all our income limits and purchase price limits are on our website, SONYMA.org, but just to give you an idea.
Wow, that was great information, very detailed. Thank you so much. I've had a couple of questions come up about credit cards in the pre-approval process. And they want to know is it possible to get pre-approved without having the credit card information checked? Maybe Veronica?
Louis, do you want to take that question?
Oh, Louis, you're on mute.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
The question was they want to know about credit cards and if credit cards have to be counted towards their pre-approval process.
Well, as a part of being pre-qualified, we do have to take into consideration what type of liabilities they have. As far as the amount of credit you have to have, I believe that you can still build credit, get non-conforming credit if you don't have any credit. As far as having the sufficient amount to qualify, but credit card liabilities do count to get qualified for a loan, especially SONYMA.
Okay, thank you. Matthew asks, I've never owned a home, but I just got married and my spouse currently owns a home. We want to purchase a new house together within the next year. Would they qualify, or are you unqualified once you marry someone who owns a home?
Okay, so for SONYMA purposes, Matthew is a first-time home buyer, right? So he is considered a first-time home buyer. He can buy a home with our program. His spouse would not be able to be on the particular mortgage because she already owns a home, right? But for our purposes, Matthew is a first-time home buyer. So yes, he can purchase a home with our programs because he is a first. So he has not had prior ownership interest in a home.
Terrific. Beth wanted to give a testimonial on Veronica. She said Veronica is working with a client of mine, and Veronica provides excellent service and is extremely knowledgeable and professional. I highly recommend her. So I wanted to get that out. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Beth, for sharing that with us. So we have some more questions. Matt, actually for you, Tiffany wanted to know, does the 48-hour inspection after offer acceptance pertain to a co-op as well?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I'm sure it's similar because you're going to have a ton of buyers looking at one property. So you still have to move fast on the property. So I would say within 48 hours would be a good timetable for a realtor to let you get in and get that opportunity at the property.
Terrific, thank you. Tanisha just wanted you to qualify for a single family home. You only need to put down 1% with SONYMA?
Yes, so our minimum down payment is 3%, right? Because it's, but only 1% needs to be their own funds. So they can use our down payment assistance to be able to make up that other 2%. So yes, so a single family home, it's 3% down payment, but only 1% needs to be their own funds.
Fantastic. Is there, Shamika wanted to know, is there a list of SONYMA homes that, or can you buy any home in New York State that's on the market?
Any home in New York State.
Terrific, thank you. And Linda wants to know, do all the programs apply in every neighborhood of New York State?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Let's see, we have some more questions here. Again, another question about the husband, and we already answered that question. We have a question for applying for mortgage. Who do I contact? So you would contact Veronica or Lewis if you're interested in talking about mortgages. And I did put their contact information. It's in the chat. I'll share it again. And also everyone who's here today will get an email tomorrow that will have Veronica and Matthew and Lewis's contact information. And there'll also be a direction where you can go and listen to this again, and you'll be able also to share it. So just wanted to let everyone know that because we were getting some questions. So Letitia wanted to know, how, if at all, would SONYMA assist with someone with a VA loan?
Okay, so we have our own homes for veterans. So there are, again, if you're a veteran, thank you from the bottom of my heart for your service. So the VA has their own program, and SONYMA has the Homes for Veterans program. I would tell you to look at both of them and to see which would be best if you're a veteran. But our program, again, is for veterans, active military, National Guard, or reservists. And the difference is that, again, it's not only the VA programs only for the actual veteran and their spouse. Our Homes for Veterans program is for the veteran and their family member. So for instance, you know, maybe Uncle Joe lives with you now, and Uncle Joe is a veteran. So because he's going to live with you and he must be on title, you still get the same benefit as Uncle Joe would, because again, you're part of the family and he is a veteran. So our programs, also the VA doesn't allow for you to purchase a co-op under their VA program, but with SONYMA under our Homes for Veterans program, you can.
Terrific, thank you so much. So Naomi wants to know, New York City co-op boards, would they be okay with a 1% down payment program? Or is this more for a condo situation or a single multifamily home?
Well, again, co-ops always put their own rules and regulations as to how much of a down payment they require. That's the reason why it's so important to look to see what other grants or down payment assistance you may be available for you. Because if you can get a grant and SONYMA's down payment, now you have a greater down payment, and it may fulfill the requirement of the co-op of the down payment that they're requiring.
Okay, thank you. I just saw a question here that I wanted to get back to. People want to know about student loans. Does that affect the grants?
Well, student loans will affect your affordability, right? Because they have to be taken into consideration. Now, one of the good things with SONYMA is that SONYMA, let's say that you are doing you're in a repayment plan with income-based repayment plan with your student loan. If you can get us something from the servicer stating what the payment is, even if it says that right now your payment is 0, that's what SONYMA is going to go by. Or else we take half, even on deferred loans, we will take 0.5% of what the outstanding balance is as your payment. So it's always best to try and get us something from the servicer. But we're, again, we always have to count some payment unless the servicer tells us there's no payment due at the time. But it's usually, it's a better affordability with SONYMA and student loans. Veronica, did you want to touch upon that at all?
Yeah, the student loans have become an issue because a lot of student loans are furloughed and deferred. Some other programs besides SONYMA require us to use a payment, or if not, we're going to use a percentage. So I strongly advise that you check with the student loans. Maybe you have them all together, hopefully, or different agencies, as to what would be the payment that you have to make. Because in the past, student loans, if they were deferred, we didn't have to count them. Unfortunately, now going forward, we have to count them. The student loans will follow you until you're 95 years old. I guarantee you that. And I'm telling you by experience. So don't think that student loans are going to go away by themselves. They do follow you wherever you go, and you have to pay them. So make sure that you get some kind of payment structure as to what you're going to have to pay when the time comes and the deferment payment is over. And sometimes it's a little bit difficult, but I definitely, we will walk you through it.
Thank you. Matt, we had a question about we can't give it, but approximately what does it cost for a home inspection? You can give a range. I know it's probably different for different homes.
Yeah, home inspectors, you could find them online. You can get somebody for $475. You can get someone for $500. You can get someone for $600. Typically, $450 to $650 in that range for a one-family house. Co-ops and condos may be a drop cheaper.
Okay. And why is it important when picking a home inspector that you pick someone with experience and,
Well, it's a big investment. And if you take a bunch of inspectors going in a house and they seem to think everything's okay, it may not be. So I'll give you an example. If you have an oil to gas conversion, if they didn't put a stainless steel liner in the chimney for the gas, that could be, a big safety carbon monoxide issue coming back in the house with a backdraft. So little things like that can be a big potential problem. Water penetration at the house, if you have a sloped hill towards the house, you're going to have drainage problems in the basement. So you have to rectify that situation. Houses on the hill, which are beautiful, but you have to make sure that you have the retaining walls, that they're not bowing out and they're holding up all the water and the earth properly. So you're not going to get a water runoff towards your house. Because water penetration is the biggest concern when you're buying a house. Obviously structure too, but water penetration, leaks that could lead to possible mold and some other environmental concerns in the house, like possible asbestos and possible lead, which is not so much of a problem. As long as you paint over the lead paint, it shouldn't be a concern.
Thank you for that.
Sure.
And certainly important, you said something like it's a small issue, but it's, it's because you can find it, but if you don't find it, it can be a really big issue. So it's a really good way to head off some problems and no
One
wait.
One other thing, I just saw one of the they were just asking a question. Yes, you should do a inspection on a new house because a new property, even though there's no signs of settlement yet, you still have to see the way methods of construction were. You could see improper framing. You can start to see if they didn't backfill, the basement on the outside with grading outside, installation of roofing material. So yes, you should do an inspection on new construction also.
Very good point. Thank you for that. Joan wants to know, are there special programs that help with families who have a member that requires special needs?
There, I don't know if it still exists, but there is a program called Home of Your Own, which was specifically for people with disabilities and special needs. Yes, so you can look that up.
Okay, terrific. I just put that in the chat, Home of Your Own. Another question that we have, actually a couple of people asked this question, but Manning asked, does age play a factor in any of this?
Absolutely not. Cannot discriminate against age. So you could get a 30-year mortgage at 85.
That's great. Good to know. We have ways to go. We have a ways to go. Tawana wants to know, what documents are used to determine income? Is it just tax returns or pay stubs? Maybe Veronica or Louis, in terms of
Louis, you want to take that?
Louis?
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, the question was about the
What documents are needed to determine
I want to
eligibility?
know if you're looking for income, is it pay stubs? Like, what is it that they need to produce?
Well, for income documentation, we obviously need the last 30-day pay stubs, 2 years tax returns, any other income from government income that they get. If you're not working, Social Security income, pension,
Mhm.
that's as much as they need to bring for us to pre-qualify them.
I can tell you for Sony May purposes, oh, sorry. For Sony May purposes, we always want to see the last 30-day pay stubs, and we want to see 3 years tax returns, because especially with the tax returns, we want to make sure that's what's going to tell us if someone had prior home ownership interest in the last 3 years. So W-2s for 2 years, tax returns for 3 years, and pay stubs for 30 days.
Terrific. Another question that we have, there's a lot of them coming in now as well. Tawana's concerns that in New York City, $15,000, does that tend to help enough for people to be able to buy?
Well, it depends, right? Because again, it depends on the price of the home. It depends on whether or not you've maybe been able to obtain some kind of down payment assistance, or as Veronica mentioned, which again, Emigrant does all of the down payment grant programs specifically, the Homebuyer Dream Program. Maybe Veronica, you can talk a little bit about that program.
So yeah, the Homebuyer Dream Program is a program that is only open a certain period of time of the year. So you want to make sure that you're dealing with a bank that has been approved by the Homebuyer Dream Program, because not all banks, again, have approval and a certain amount. So the Homebuyer Dream Program is $10,000, $500 for the agency for the educational part. So it's $9,500. Again, these grants, you have to remember that not all the grants have the same underwriting guidelines. And so you have to be, again, working with somebody that knows those guidelines. For example, I'll just give you one instance that, for example, CHI, if you're going to apply to CHI for a grant assistance, you can't be in contract, okay? But if you're going to apply for Sonny Mae, you have to be in contract. So there's like different little things that you need to know what to do and when to do and who to do, you know, so you got to remember some of these grants have very specific income ratios that are specific for that grant. So again, it's kind of putting that little puzzle all together to see where this applicant can get the most based on their circumstances and their income.
And is that something that you can help people with when they come to you for a mortgage, to kind of guide them?
Sure. I'm Mama Mortgage, so I'm going to ask you all the questions about what's your income, who's going to live with you, who's not going to live, where's the money. So I'm going to get all that information and then kind of put it all together and say, okay, what seems to me that you, obviously, I'm not the last decision maker, but seems to me, but based on the information that you're providing to me, is that you qualify for these 3 grants. Or, you know, if you find another grant that is specific for that town, then you need to find out the guidelines for that specific grant. But again, it's asking all the questions that it's going to be the success to how many grants you can get.
Terrific. And I think that's, you know, really actually a great way to kind of close, because honestly, we could stay here all night long. This is such important information. And, but really it's about speaking to, you know, reach out to Veronica, reach out to Louis, find out what is right for you, sit down with them and experience these experienced individuals who can guide you and help you through, because everyone's situation is a little bit different, and they can really focus on you in particular and be able to answer those questions for you. And certainly reach out to Matt. It's always good to have a team together as you're thinking about buying a home. It's wonderful to have your whole team and a team of people that work well together so that everyone knows exactly how to guide you best for your personal circumstances. So I want to thank Delphia. Thank you so much. You were so helpful and so detailed in helping us all understand all the wonderful benefits of SONYMA. Veronica and Louis, thank you for representing Emigrant Mortgage and letting us know where to go to be able to get help in finding all the right mortgage. Matt, thank you for joining us and letting us know how important a home inspection is, and no matter what you're buying, make sure it's inspected. So thank you so much to our panelists. I want to thank all our attendees for joining us this evening. I hope this has been helpful to you. I see a lot of people saying thank you so much. This has been so informative. So I truly am thrilled about that. As I mentioned, this is being recorded. You will get the link tomorrow. I shared all of the contact information here in the chat. Again, you will get that also tomorrow, everyone's contact information. So get it started, get it moving, speak with these people. And wishing you the absolute best in buying your home. I wish you all to stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again soon. Have a great night, all.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you.